You are now tuning in to Lex and RDDC broadcast station, serving up on the double doses for
Thank you
all.
for tuning back into the Real Double Dose channel. This is your host, Lex, coming to you straight from the heart where the talk is real and the vibe is always live, like we always say. For any show requests, feedback, or anything under the sun that you can think of, as always, reach us at Real Double Dose channel at yandex.com. That's yandex.com, and as well as realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. If I said that too fast, just push rewind. But if you can't have a live play, you can find those links over at our SoundCloud page, where we have a lot of different links posted and so much more, as well as the Blogspot. And if you're not tuning in, which we see that you are from different platforms, that's TuneIn, Stitcher Radio, Spreaker.com, Blueberry.com, Spotify, iHeart, iTunes, as well as Deezer, Google Cast, so much more. And if I didn't mention them, I guarantee you'll find those very, very soon. And if you still want to sign up for the travel giveaways for Puerto Vallarta, Jamaica, and so much more, we will clear through all this stuff going on, and you might want to hold on to a free vacation just to relax yourself again. And as always, thank you for claiming your gift cards and so much more. And we're going to have a lot of events coming up, and I hope you all enjoy. So without further ado, I do want to introduce our guest expert, our wonderful, blazing, bodacious guest expert, and her name is KRISTIE Kennedy. So KRISTIE Kennedy is a lifestyle empowerment author and TEDx speaker, and is the owner of Queen Confidence, or Queen Fidence, yes, executive image consulting, who infuses women with confidence and clarity, insights to find their voice, free their voice, and look fabulous exercising their voice, which is very, very important. She specializes in 4 areas of peak performance: mindset mastery, massive momentum, magnetic messaging, and potential maximization. That is this queen of bodacious belief, has a passion for igniting leaders who have reached an internal plateau with limitless possibilities. She's a certified emotional resilience trainer whose thought-provoking teachings style elevates your self-perception from stuck to being unstoppable. Her life is a testament, amen to that, that you can shift, and get all that mediocrity and magnificence and all the audaciousness action step one at a time and time at a one, because she's here with us. Thank you for being on here with us, Mrs. KRISTIE Kennedy. How are you?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for reading that bio so vivaciously.
I was feeling the energy. You got me feeling that whole boom factor, that extra boom.
Kelly, what is life without sparkle?
Yeah, exactly. We definitely don't need dull now, especially when we're stuck inside the doors. Inside the doors.
I have pom-poms in my home office and a little bell. So I keep myself excited.
Good, yeah. I tell people if they get a chance to express themselves and being able to have that. I mean, I find myself actually having more time writing. And it's just writing. It could just be a small little writing about just, a prince and a princess, for goodness sakes. It does something to you where I've written so many things down and these books literally come to life without even me realizing it until I'm halfway in it. It's crazy on that one. Man, so how I asked you this before, but I mean, as far as that, since we can just touch base on it for all of our audiences from both sides. How is everything going with your, quote, lockdown?
Yes, I got a text from one of my friend girls. She's in New York, and she said, wow, you've been extremely productive in the midst of a pandemic. And so, hence, I believe in being creative in crisis. For an entrepreneur leader, we thrive in the midst of chaos.
Oh, yeah.
It's creation time.
Yeah. And we always feel that kind of time stipulation chaos as well. So we're always in it. So when this happens, it's almost like everything else slows down out there, but we're amped up 10 times more to be like, okay.
Yeah,
this
we're
is
a different breed.
Yeah, there's no crackdown. I tell people, I'm like, I really don't need an alarm clock to wake up, but at the same time, hearing it go off at 5:30 in the morning is a really good feeling, because I'm like, okay, my eyes are already open, or let me push snooze and pretend I'm normal.
Oh, wow. It's so funny that you would say that, Lexus, because I was walking the dogs before the interview, and I just started thanking God for the freedom. I've been free for the past 6 years, and
amen.
I was walking down the street, I can walk my dogs at any time of the day. I'm on my own schedule, and I thought about, I believe for all of this with my 18 vision boards and 6 vision books, and so there's just no way that I'm going to act as if I am not appreciative of this lifestyle of freedom, because I work really hard to live free.
Yeah. Absolutely. And a lot of people, I think, you know what? I mean, as you know already, but people have the perception of, oh my goodness. And when I talk to different ones, just in my whole life, and especially downtown, it's either, especially the ones who can't be out here freely, physically, they don't believe that they can actually do something. And then so the ones who are out here are like, man, I just don't know if I have the time. But I find them telling me when I ask them, what do you not have the time for? And they tell me about 3 to 4 hours worth of just random doing and YouTube videos and whatever else they want. But then they're like, I don't have the time and I feel so exhausted. So I'm like, well, if you actually took about 10 hours of that within the last 2 days and put that towards a 7-day schedule for an hour a day, you could probably make some moves, you know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just saying on that one. So let's get into the goodies of this wonderful, because your energy is so vibrant and so beautiful that
thank you, and yours as well.
Well, you know what? Hey, greatness think alike, and they come together, which we have. #facts. I'm like, we have come
It's
together.
explosive. It's explosive.
Great minds think alike, Christy. Yes, they do. So we want to know, all of us who are tuning in, and thank you for all those who are tuning in, as we see all the new people from all over the world, and especially, I can't even believe some of the countries, I don't even know how to even know they existed, on here, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's
Worldwide.
yeah, worldwide. Yes, we had Japan and Germany and Canada and different ones just blowing it up yesterday, so that was really awesome. Yeah, and I was like, okay, we see you. We literally see you. We got you. Like on here, but
love it.
yeah. So what is the inspiration of everything that you've had to have this journey evolve, and being able to not only help others and get your calling and purpose for the Creator of all things, but also lead you on the journey of this past 6 years of beauty?
You know, one word, Lex: life.
Oh yeah.
That's the simple answer, but the heart of it has been my own adversity that I've had to overcome. And one major stamp in time was 2007. And during this time, I called myself leaping out in entrepreneurship. I've launched 3 times, but this was the second time. And so, you know, when you launch something and it doesn't go according to plan, it doesn't feel good. You keep doing it and it doesn't feel good over and over and over again. It'll wear on you. But
yeah,
this was my second launch, and I opened up a building, had it decorated inside out, and fell flat on my face. And I was trying to figure out what happened. And what happened was, at that time, I did not have marketing in place. I was just this eager, zealous entrepreneur following her passions. I was the field of dreams mindset. Build it and they will come. I built it and they did not come because I didn't market it. No one knew I existed. So I was moving out as fast as I moved in. And that was before, you know, home businesses were just the thing. And so I was giving away all of the interior furniture that I purchased, and I went into a dark depression. No one knew it because I am the motivator, the inspirator, the proclamator.
Yeah.
And real life hit me hard in a way that I didn't think I was going to bounce back. So for 10 months, I was in this deep, dark depression. But when I come outside, I could put on the face, you know, I can put those lashes on. You know how I dress.
Yeah.
And so I dressed for success. I dressed to impress. And here I was going back home, hiding under the covers. And I really, at that time, I prayed. I said, just take me out, God. Just take me out. I don't want to live anymore.
Oh, no.
And he did not answer that prayer.
Thank God he did not answer
I'm still here 13 years later, but it was a major wake-up call. And I remember 2008 rolling around, and I was like, this is enough. You know, you get tired of your own pity party, like, okay, I'm done. It took a long time. But I told myself, I never want to lose that kind of time. And that was major, because there was 10 months that I cannot get back. Yeah. And so I began to do one thing every single day, which I call it, you know, massive momentum. But I started saying to myself, do it now. You don't have everything that you need, but what do you have? What can you use right now where you're at? That was the journey.
Yeah, that sounds like a journey, especially for you to have to go and speak to your father and say, man, you know, this is just getting tough. Like, this is a whole nother level of tough that I'm just thinking, whoa. 10 months, that's close to a year. 2 months shy of a year. I mean, on that whole threshold of getting there. But I remember, I know it was a while ago. I really don't hear him a lot too much, but it's Tony Robbins, and he was saying, he kind of shook me one time because he said, it's not how many resources you have, it's how resourceful you are. And that's something I have to still push myself to, because I make, and yes, RDDC families, and I always tell them, I make excuses for myself where I'm like, okay, well, you know what, this book is completely, there. I'll just come to it later. Knowing how I know how I am, I won't be coming back to it for at least a year. So I'm like, okay, I buy a product. Oh, this cream is not working, but I've only used it twice. Just certain stuff like that. And I'm like, I've been, like you said, execute it, get it done. Boom, 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 boom. So your whole 10 months. So in that feeling of failure within that 10 months of feeling like you were almost absolutely defeated to a whole point, that urge in you, what made that fire just kind of ramp inside of you? Like, look, you're not going to take me down.
When I look back over everything that I've experienced, it was always in there, and I call it radical resilience, that bodacious belief. Like, how dare you adversity try to take me out?
Yeah.
And with all this power I have inside of me, all this potential, I'm not going out like that. You just wake up one day and say, I'm not going out like that. That's not going to be the end of my story. And one of my favorite quotes, Lex, is, she who holds the pen holds the power. This is just one bad chapter.
Like
this is not the whole story.
Yeah, I like that. Wait a minute now. Wait, can you say that one more time so they can just really, really hear you?
She who holds the pen holds the power. And if you're a guy, he who holds the pen. It's your life. Rewrite the story. And so, hence, we want to make it a bestseller.
Yes. Oh, I like. So wait a minute. We're gonna have to have a couple extra cups of coffee right now. That's what we go. She got me. Wait, I love that. You know what? And we wish. I mean, at least I know that those times where we were going through all that. But I mean, we had to evolve and come out from that in order to have that power to say it right now. Because if we didn't go through those experiences, we wouldn't have much to say. Oh wow. Yeah. Rewrite your chapters, rewrite your story, and make it a bestseller. # bestseller. Yes. Your life bestseller. I'm going to have to do something with that, with the title of the show right now from this episode. # bestselling life. Yes. Get it. Because
I love it.
Who's going to want to open your book?
We have a choice. Be powerful or powerless. And in that moment, when you're going through the adversity, the hardship, whatever it is, the difficulty that you're facing, in the moment, it's these moments that are in between before you get to the mountaintop, that are so critical that a lot of times we underestimate. But that's when in those moments I can go back in my mind and I can see myself at the end of my hallway crying, saying, I fight, not faint. I fight, not faint. I fight, not faint. And it is a literal fight for your life, for your next best self, for your health, whatever the thing is that you want to obtain.
Absolutely.
It's a fight.
Yeah. I mean, and the whole thing is see, the difference of what I noticed, and I'm not calling out anyone, no shade for whoever's listening to this episode right now, but you could feel the energy of someone. And I tell people, it's more than a different kind of energy. You can feel the frequency of their channel. You can feel that whole vibration of where they are, because when you wake up to something that is definitely called for you to wake up to, makes your heart keep beating, makes your soul keep permeating. Like, people don't understand that. And people can weed out what it is, and that's why they attract to what your energy field is. They attract to people who are like, we're not just giving it to you. We almost don't even know how to package it up. See, that's what I believe when you hear about the energy behind what you had. See, the marketing was you. The marketing is just you yourself and being out there so people can see how radiant you are, so they can flood and flock to you. Because those out there who don't really have anything to give, they always have to put a little extra on there. But you are the whole package, so they don't.
My goodness, the kid and the caboodle, honey. Yeah. Yeah, it's real, it's raw, and it's relevant to where people are. And, real recognizes real. Amen.
That is very, very true. Very true. You can feel that, because, sometimes, like you said, you're best-selling. Okay, you are your own best-selling story. Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I look at that and I start looking at people and I'm like, man, when people say they have so many bad times with relationships, jobs, and I'm like, why they always ask me, Alexa, why do you go into work so ecstatic? Why do you talk to people so? I'm like, because I'm writing my story every minute. And even though you don't fit the character of the energy I'm trying to portray, I put you in the energy I see you in. And that's exactly why they get to the point where they're like, man, I feel like I can open a bakery. I feel like I can go out there to a nursing home and talk to people. I'm like, well, go with that feeling. healing. Because at the end of the day, when I go back home, I'm like, man, sometimes I'm just like, okay, give me some peppermint tea and just let me just chill back for a minute. I can get this energy. But as soon as when I know, I'm like, it's not for you to be that tired, Lex. So you're still breathing. So get up and give that energy to someone that you're meant for. Because if you do live, to the point where your living's too full and you're dying full, that means you didn't die empty. So you still didn't give your seeds away that you were given to give. And that's what gets me all the time, where I'm like, man, I don't want to go out of this life without someone being able to know what I was given, and for that particular person or that group to have that right now. And I'm just happy that you decided past those 10 months to continue on, because yes, we needed that at the same time.
Legacy leadership. You're going to leave a legacy behind. It's going to impact so many lives.
Yeah, legacy leadership. That is definitely true. So the whole journey of that, from the 10 months that you were going through, it led you to basically kind of, did you still go with what you were initially planning in that 10 months or whatever when you tried to do that launch?
No, I ended up going back to a secretarial position. Well, actually, I went to beauty school in 2008. Okay. So 2008 was going to be great. I forgot about that. 2008 is going to be great. And I went to beauty school, give me a new focus, hence doing something new, something that revs me up. Because it's always been about empowering women. I've worked at the homeless shelter and assisted them in information as an information referral counselor. But everything I noticed, it was always impacting a woman and building her up. And initially it was starting from the external. I've taught models. And so when I went through the beauty program, I started working in day spas, but the income that I was generating was just not enough to sustain me. And during that space, I ended up having a fibroid tumor. So I had 7 tumors growing in my body. Now, at this point, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, and I'm not making enough to sustain my lifestyle, one. And then you add on top of that a major health issue where these tumors are growing every single month. I'm losing an exorbitant amount of blood. I become anemic. So it literally was like one thing on top of the other. But what I realized was that 2007's hardship was preparing me. And so I ended up going through probably a 5-year period of just rebuilding myself back up. And I ended up going to an old job that I left to start the business, to get the building that I mentioned. Yeah. I go back as a secretary because I needed the health insurance at that point. And that was 2012. And the job offered health insurance. So I was able to afford the surgery. But that was the only reason I went back. And then 2 years later, I ended up coming back to entrepreneurship. And so I've been free again for 6 years, but I had to, because I was going to die. If I didn't have that surgery, I had almost no blood in my body.
Yeah, I could only imagine. That is, you had to go assess that and get that together. And that's just something else where we have to go through so much drama just to get health care. It's ridiculous. I'm like, it's just too, that's a whole nother level. But at the same time, when you said that, I'm like, I can only imagine how that's just pulling in. And that's what it was. Those 7 tumors were just giving you those 7 steps just right to where you need it. You're almost to your 7th year. So there you go. Yes. I mean, to have all these things hold you back, or try to hold you back at the time, which, like you said before, it had to pull you back like the slingshot so you could just propel yourself up in the air and move forward and fly. That's beautiful. Like, fly in the air from all that. Because what is failure? Failure is success, because it means you're continually trying. Because I look at myself like that, I'm like, man, look, you might not like the response you get. You might not like if someone says, hey, this and this and that, I don't like this, but that's one opinion. And then I look at it like, okay, well, at the same time, I'm like, but have I figured myself, when I had to look at people, they say, well, what's my success? Especially, I was talking to you previously before we got on air about people will say, well, what can I do? The world looks at me this way. This is what they feel. This is what they're looking at. But at the same time, I'm like, I started looking at the evaluation. A lot of people put success for themselves if they don't even have the right kind of, let's put it for a woman, a right shade of lipstick. They'll say, oh, I can't do my makeup like this woman. I'm never going to be, or I'm not as slender as her, or I'm not as, thick as her, or whatever it is. And I'm like, well, I'm like, at the end of the day, is it something that we're finding excuses within ourselves because we don't feel adequate enough from who we are? I'm like, that from knowing us, because if we really understood who we are, now we're still going to have the human, I always tell people, we do battle with the flesh. But if we went from a spiritual standpoint, we would never be looking at ourselves in that way. And I look at the lions. I mean, that I know of from out here, I can't look at a hyena or a lion and say, oh man, she doesn't have the right kind of coat. I don't want don't want to have my offspring with her, or that hippo has 10 more pounds that I didn't like. I really don't know. And I'm like, and one of the gentlemen shared with me, to add on to what your wonderful like whole journey is. He was like, it's so amazing how I never looked at my wife in the way that she always picked at herself over the last 10 years. But one day I woke up and I couldn't handle it anymore, and I saw every flaw about her that she picked at. So I was like, wow. And it struck her that her husband now, he sees everything that she's been pointing out.
Wow.
Because she kept conditioning him to that same low-class mind scale she was holding about herself. And eventually they wound up getting a divorce a few years later, unfortunately. No. So I'm like, wow. And then she said, I can't make what's right and wrong. But she was like, I understand what's wrong now because it wasn't right. And I'm like, no. I mean, you keep putting that out there. And that's what I have to remember, too. I'm like, okay, if you're at work, write down some business notes. If you have, okay, well, let me put A plus B plus C. And everyone out there, I keep saying before, if you have something that you want to go towards, or a mind barrier, or like a blockage that you want to go and knock down, this is why we have wonderful spirits like KRISTIE Kennedy here to get those things and kind of open that up so you can move forward. And I tell them too, hey, Real WW's channel, you want some free software, you want to go ahead and have your book, a couple free copies of your own book made. Well, that's what we're here for, is complete empowerment. And sometimes it's not, you can't worry about the price of something when your life is the price that you never can pay back. Yeah, that's what it is. Some people are like, oh, well, how much is it going to cost? Well, how much time do you have to live? That's a question you don't have. So you don't have the answers to when you're going to die. So if you die with $5,000 in your bank account, why are you crying about giving away half of that to something that could change your whole life bank account? That's, I mean, yeah, cha-ching. Can you cash that out? Like, no. I guarantee if you wanted to bury that with you, one of the little, the funeral director probably come back and pay you a visit to grab that out of there. Is what he probably would do. So I'm just saying. So your emotional and your mental wellness journey also had to start with you going through all that, going through the surgery, bouncing yourself back, being able to come up from that. At the end of the day, when it comes back to what has been like more of your whole stronghold was being out there, because I know you do public speaking and educating all kinds of people, having your clients, coaching so much more. Do you feel that your setbacks are still on the way to like the top peak of the mountain? The boulders still keep coming down. To have the setbacks of your clients and your coaching and different stuff like that and your speaking, has that released you from something that's held you back even more from things you're learning down the journey?
Almost definitely. Because I think one of the biggest obstacles that I've experienced, now if you would have asked me 20 years ago what was an obstacle, I probably would have said it was money, all these different externals, but I have been my greatest obstacle. Yeah. And what I've learned through each hardship, adversity, is that I'm learning about KRISTIE. And one of my quotes is, powerful presence begins with acute self-awareness. And every single thing that I've encountered, Lex, has revealed me. And the best parts and the worst parts. And that's what I love about each day, because we get an opportunity to become better. Rolls-Royce has a quote, and one of the things that they operate by their value system is they say, find the best that exists and make it better. And I literally have adopted that from my own personal self-development. You find the best that exists, like you were saying. You can tear yourself down. You can say, well, I don't have this. But what do you have, KRISTIE? Like I was coaching a client this morning, and we were talking about uncertainty. This is a time of uncertainty for a lot of individuals. Their whole lives have been disrupted. And so I asked her in the moment, what are you certain about? And just go down the list. I want you to find as many things as possible that you're certain about. And so for me, navigating through life, all of the obstacles, that's what it has given me. One of the greatest gifts is that clarity. And clarity is priceless, especially when you're in the midst of a crisis.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I like that whole thing you said about writing down what are you certain about. And I think I saw that on Bloomberg or something last night, where a lady was saying, why are we buying so much toilet paper, buying so much stuff? And she was like, well, one is something that we're certain about. We can control that aspect. Yeah, you're right. That's something I need to do. I'm gonna put that in my to-do list that I need to do. Write down what I'm certain about. Maybe we should have a little session like that. What are you? Sorry. What do I feel certain about?
Grab it and go.
Because some people will be like, man, okay, at this point right now, I'm going to say this for the skeptics out there who always have questions for us on our email. Well, you two are fantastic. KRISTIE is a beautiful woman. She has this and she came through these milestones, but I don't have what KRISTIE has. I don't have what Lex has. What do you say to the naysayers of themselves who are doubting themselves based on what they're perceiving as perfection right now? Like, as far as, not looking inside, but looking outside.
Oh, yes, I've been there, Lex. And one of my go-to quotes for that is, no one is you, and that is your power.
Yeah.
No one is you. There is nobody else on this earth like you. And so, hence, we need your uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we discount it because one time, like you said before, comparing ourselves with others is not wise.
No, it doesn't do anything for you. I mean, you don't get anything out of the whole thing. Yeah, and you feel worse. I think I was on one of the KRISTIE. It was a radio station. A few weeks ago, I was sitting there pulling up in the driveway from the gas station, and she said, remember these Instagram photos of all these rock-hard six-packs and all these other little diet things you see? And they did a study on Instagram saying that 85% of people from the millions that are on their platform were saying they would boycott Instagram if they saw any more of those photos. Now, of course, that was about 95% of women that were like, look, we don't need to look at something else telling us what we should be looking like or what we should do. There's nothing wrong with having a healthy balance. I'm going to say a diet itself. Nature knows how to feed itself the right things. You don't have to tell an elephant to go to the store and what to grab on aisle 5. You don't have to tell, a beautiful flamingo, hey, you should be eating this fish instead of that. They know by nature's design what they're supposed to do by the whole priceless understanding of what the creator put in them. And we've gotten so separated from that. And that's why we're so deep on knowing the self, because people are just like, oh yeah, I'm like, it's not a hippie moment of sipping on some acid in the park. Well, this is real reality here. And I used to look at different things, but until I got a chance to die, and my burial ground is California, but my rebirthing ground of when I became renewed from seeing me going there to where I'm at now, it was more than just sitting there. I mean, when you feel so connected in order to be able to get everything that you want, nothing really is a stumbling block. Like you said, you are the most magnificent, unique element of you, even if it's a whole different way. Because we look at America's Got Talent and all this other stuff, and I'm like, man, like here we go with another 17,000 singer. Come on, like just stop. But if you notice, every time you hear someone blow you out the park, no matter if it sounds similar or not, it does something to your whole instrument of like how you resonate that music, how you go ahead and when you taste an apple, even though they've been around, okay, whether Eve ate it or not, the apple's been around. When you have that apple, there's one that tastes a little bit sweeter, there's one's a little bit more crispier. Yes, there's always something different about it. So like you said, you can have a whole bunch of bananas, but only you are going to taste like that one certain banana that's peeled. Yes, I like that. I see, I'm educated from this.
We're teaching each other. I love it. We're empowering each other.
I love that. It's expansion. It's the expansion. See, when you get that right coordination of the chemistry that flows. I was sitting here today when Angela was like, oh, she's on the email. I was like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God. I was like, thank you, God. Some people have disappeared off the map. I don't know what it was, but I was like, you know what? I'm like, I have faith in KRISTIE. I'm like, I have faith. I know they might say, I don't see a lot of it. One of my mentors, he started doing different stuff, and he's the one who actually taught me probably about several years ago how to put an ad up online for $2 and get $185 the next morning. And I was like, oh, it actually worked. It actually worked. But I was like, and that was on a dating website. So I'm like, okay, all right. I didn't even know they were paying attention to anything but who they're typing. But I'm like, okay. But when he was saying that, he was coming out and he was like, at the end of the day, he was like, it's all about where you want your mind to go. He's like, because people have talked about his autism, his ADHD, all this other stuff. But he was like, it's not about that. But once you unleash the chains of who you think you are and actually who you know you are, he was like, now I'm sitting here and some of these guys made fun of me in school about, you're never going to learn anything, you're dumb. And yet they're coming to me for a loan for their mortgage. So I was like, wow. That took me. That's
brilliant.
Yeah, it took me there. So when I got a chance to see you smiling, I was like, man, she just looks so sweet. She just looks so radiant. I was like, man, how to just to know that. But when you, like I said, but if the listeners hear it, they'll be looking at the same thing you can see. But I'm like, I still know that there's a layer. There's layers behind everything you see. And it's kind of amazing from how the journeys people talk about and the stories they talk about. You're like, really? You? But then you have to put it together like, man, and all the stories that people and things have done to us. Like, just imagine how much more connected to the guy who spills coffee on you. What happened to him that day for the coffee to spill on you? You know, and what happened to that person to do something to that guy for the coffee to spill on you? It's such a ripple effect. And it's amazing. I almost wish we had a little time machine. I want to go back a couple hundred years and see what it really tastes like to eat an apple. I really want to see. No pesticides, nothing. I just want to see what it is. I know it's a random comment in there, but I had to throw that out there. Just real quick, what it was right there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I know. And believe it or not, all I had was some Gatorade this morning. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You're my coffee. There you go. You're my coffee. That energy of, you know, we're beyond Starbucks at this point, okay? Like we're beyond.
It's pure energy. Let me tell you, all natural.
Yeah, it is all natural because the pearl, the wisdom, the understanding of all that. I'm still stuck on the fact that you had to go through almost all your blood loss like that. Yeah. That took me back because I'm like, man, were you able to move or anything, or was it kind of like, does it kept you like in one place?
My energy levels would fluctuate. So oftentimes I would feel like a 90-year-old woman this 30-something-year-old body at the time. And I was really moving at a snail's pace. If I were to go up 2 steps of a flight of stairs, I would be winded.
Oh, wow. So
just to give you a picture of what it was like to be so anemic.
Oh, yeah. So they were they thinking about blood transfusions?
What's that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Were they thinking about blood transfusions or anything at all?
Yes. Once I had the surgery, before I could even have the surgery, I had to have 4 units of blood pumped into me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah. Oh.
Normal is around, I think, 10 and up, and I was at like 5.5, I want to say. My blood level.
Wow. Whoa. I bet you felt very lightheaded. Oh, man.
Yeah, oftentimes I was feeling faint. The nurse practitioner told me, she said, if I were to she let me know how serious it was. She said, if you were to get in an accident right now, you wouldn't survive.
No, I wouldn't imagine. No. Wow. What is that? When my heart is faint, lead me to the rock that is greater than I.
Come on.
Oh,
life
man.
is in the blood.
Yes.
And we talked about that adversity, Lex. One of my another go-to quote is, she didn't fear the fire, she became the flames. And so you talk about when you see the polish, it's like after you go through the fire, you know, God promises that we'll come forth as pure gold. And so that's what they see, that radiant, you know, because I tell people, you've got to endure your storm. Because if you don't, what will be the point of it all? We've got to get some type of spoil, some reward, some treasure out of it all. If not, it's just going to be pain with no purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, diamonds are made under pressure, extreme pressure. I mean, how else can you shine? Like the song from Rihanna, "Shine Bright Like a Diamond," right? Let's put that out there. I was listening to that earlier, but it was another version of one of the gospel singers who actually sung that, and I had downloaded it. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, you're right. Like, you cannot, no one wants to open up a book, a romance novel about, we fell in love, we had kids, the end. Okay, like that's the whole point of having a saga. That's the whole point of having 1 and 2 and 3, because you're getting to a point and being able to go through someone else's story and understand them. Be like, man, well, I can see that going on in my life. I can see that going on in my life. But first, we have to be willing. I mean, because at the same time, if you have someone who's sitting there just being completely negative Jim or negative Nancy, who just wants to be like, oh, blah, 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 whoa, whoa, whoa. And they just want to see everything negative. Now I'm like, you know what? Peace be still, move. Like, don't even go. Don't even come in my lane. Don't even come in my lane. Like, you know, like, and my friend used to say before, it was a long time ago, but he used to say before when his girlfriend would make a man, he was like, I don't chase him, I replace him. You know, so I was like, oh, really? So I was like, okay, all right, Danzig, let's go with it. But I look at that too. I'm like, you'll have those negative people that come in your world will be like, man, what are you thinking about doing more for? You're okay with where you are. Because people don't fear change within themselves if you're not trying to change. They fear change within you because then they see a reflection of what they're not doing or what they have been avoiding. Yeah. And they're like, oh, well, you think you're all high and mighty. Well, yeah, I am high and mighty because I was made from the almighty high. Like, I was made for the most high. So how am I not going to be? Because I tell you, no matter how much in denial we may be or we want to be or people out there, you can look up at the sky and realize man did not make it. You can look at the clouds and see that trees and growing on you. Come on now, no matter what you try to be, you can't avoid the fact that you did not create the universe. So no matter what you try not to believe in, it's still going to believe in you, because the only reason you're walking around or listening to this episode is because it has faith in you. And that's the only thing. I mean, if it didn't have a purpose for you to be here, there's something and a reason why you're listening to this right now. There's a reason why you're feeling some type of way about what you can do. And I just saw, and I know I might be bad, I don't know what it was, Britain's Talent, whoever. It was some little clips I see. I only get about 5-minute clips here and there. But it was this lady who was a background singer for a very long time, and she was 55. I mean, she looked like she was 24. Wow. I mean, of course, you know, she had to have the essence of the rainbow of brown swirls. So I'm like, she had that, you know, black don't crack statement, whatever they want to say out there.
Okay,
but she had it. And I mean, her daughter looked like her sister, but she was, you know, a voluptuous woman. And she said, the only reason I never came forward because the record labels told me back then, you know what, you're not the right size to be a singer. And it made her go, and she said, I became the background of what I knew I should have been the front. So at the same time, I'm like, even though it took her 30 years to finally come out there and do, she still had to look at something in that journey and say, look, I'm going to do what I have to do whenever I want to. And that's something you have to do. And at the end of the day, I learned a lot from just being on here in this episode. I have. Like, I'm just like, wow, I'm going to have to take a lot of that. I'm going to have to do the pen and write my I'm going to have to do it. Hold the pen.
Light up those pages.
Yeah, light up the pages.
Yeah, it's making a decision, Lex, to play by the rules we write.
Yeah. I mean, so if a person's on, and I know this, I would say people, because I know there's a lot, maybe like a good 2,000 plus emails we get. But at the same time, if they ask, well, KRISTIE, how do I get to a point of where I can start becoming, you know, building a legacy of my own mentally, or start getting through the gates of stop being afraid to even click a link and see what's going on the other side?
It starts with a decision, because as you know, your body follows your mind. And if your mind is not on board, change is not going to happen. That's just the reality, because change is so uncomfortable for many individuals. Even me as a personal development leader, and I've been doing this over 20 years, it can be challenging because, hence, we are in a flawed body. This flesh, it resists change. So that's why you have to have the strong mindset to say, I'm going to do whatever it takes for however long it takes. And so it starts with making a decision. First, I make a decision to change, period. Then I need to collect a group of individuals that are on board with me. Like you're talking about, you and I have dynamic energy together. Can you imagine if you and I say we have 5 big goals that we want to accomplish in the next 30 days? You, me, 3 other ladies connect, we're all on the same page, how much we can accomplish. We're going to accomplish more than those 5 goals, but just because the synergistic energy.
Yeah.
So I go by Oprah's quote. She says, only quality people. Oprah surrounded herself with the best. So once I make a decision, I connect with other individuals that are on board that can assist and support on those days when I'm going to try to back out, because you're going to try to back out. I remember being given the pink slip 6 years ago from the medical spot that I was working in. And that's why I created the 18 vision boards around me, because there are days when you're building and you're out deep at sea. You don't even know where you're at this point. The deep, it's calling to the deep. You're just way out there. And it's like, okay, if you're too far from the shore and you don't want the shore life anymore. So that's when that mindset mastery comes into play. You got to be having these bodacious beliefs, because then you got to keep reinforcing these beliefs. Keep talking to yourself. So once I decide, I connect, and then I start executing. I'm executing on a daily basis, hence the do it now mindset. You have to move faster than your fears. Yeah. Because fear is always going to be there. But the more you practice executing, the easier it becomes, and it becomes second nature.
Yeah. Yeah, false evidence appearing real. Mm-hmm. False evidence appearing real. And I'm like, man, that's true. I mean, it's good to have caution of, stepping too close to a ledge. But being able to just know, man, that's false evidence appearing real. Why? Because we've allowed it to be so much more stronger than anything else. I mean, that's why they did that study at Harvard University where there's a whole group of people. I think there's like 40 people that were going in for the test. And they just told them, no, you can't do it. And it took them, I think think it was about over 100. You can do it to reverse their mindset of what they already proved that they could do. I mean, from how powerful we've allowed more negative to kind of overcome us at this point. And some people will say, well, it's just an advertisement. I look at them like, no, look, at the end of the day, when you're selling Cocoa Pebbles, and at the end of the day, should it be any better from you selling a bowl of sugar, how good it tastes or not, versus someone trying to enlighten you, enhance you for what you have to do. And I also tell people, they're like, oh, Lex, well, I feel bad about this, I feel bad about that. I don't, because I figure this way: if a person will pay $100,000 a year to go to a yacht club and smoke a cigar, if a person will pay $30,000 just to sit there with one of their favorite celebrities and take a picture, how much more greater are you or less? Because I'm like, when I met, Ernie Hudson, I met him, and he is still my mentor right now. And I know if he's listening out there, I know Mr. Ghostbuster himself, he told me when the platform's ready, he wants me to sit not on Oprah's side, but my side. And I told him, I said, it's not about the glam and the glitz. I said, it's about what I need to do with my impact. But he was like, at the end of the day, if you can't see yourself beyond what's going on beyond you, then I don't know what else you can do. I don't get starstruck when I see people. When I met different ones, like, Reverend Al Jackson or George Clooney, different ones, I've got a chance to like rotate with them. But I was kind of like, oh, you look different off camera. All right, have a nice day. I was never. And they always came back to me later on when they're down, because, Mayo Clinic's the heart of Minnesota's famous hospital. They always ask me, well, how come you don't get all? I'm like, well, I hear people running after them. Oh, my God, let me get an autograph. I'm like, okay, that's nice, and I get it. But I'm like, well, you're not any greater than I am. You've accomplished some wonderful things, and I'm not going to, downplay that, and I'm glad that you made it to where you did. But at the end of the day, you don't wake up any different than I do. Because if you did, one of us would not be here. So I'm like, I just look at that like you have to be your own star. Like you have to be a Star Search. There you go, Star Search, that old TV show. Star Search. Yeah, I did. For the millennials and the other one, Generation XYZ, whatever they call it now. I'm like, Star Search 90s, where whatever it was starting on there. The Apollo Theater. We don't No, we know where we're coming from with it, but it's that feeling of it. I mean, I don't know how much deeper a person could go with it, because I used to my thing is, KRISTIE, I have this understanding of fear where the false evidence appearing real for me was I don't know why I hold myself back from just doing certain things where I'm like, you know what, I could do that, and then I could do this, but I remember Coach G, she was on Facebook Live, and she has all her students, and then one of her students had asked, well, I only had 6 people show up to, one of my webinars or my live, and she goes, okay, that's 6 people. Focus on those 6 people. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, well, what if these thousands of people are on all these platforms downloading and do this, but what if I start going on here and a YouTube thing, or what if I start doing this, and what if it just completely crashes on my face, and so much more. I'm more of a live and direct person, so that's why I'm going to have these intensive kind of live and directs. You show up, okay, you just relax yourself, you're going to change and be a whole different person when you walk out, whatever it is. Maybe YouTube will work out, maybe it won't, but I just need to stop fearing that moment of just like, I think I'm going to split myself too far. That's what it is. I feel like I'm split myself too far and just leave the project there. So I'll just wait on that a little bit. So just leave that alone. Finish what I have on my own plate right now. So is there anything that you would want deeply rooted? I mean, because, the door is always open for you to return whenever you feel like it. And we would love to have you back, definitely. But what would you like to share or tell or leave them with, for now, at least, for the families and the new people that are coming out there to listen?
Wow, there's so many things that I could say. And to sum it up,
you're a shining star.
Yeah, and at this moment, I asked the question today, if everything that we do, Lex, is communicating a message, what is your life speaking? Is it speaking what you want to be heard? And at that moment, if you don't like the message, then it's time to start doing something different. And you can control the pace at which you change. If you want to go at a snail's pace or if you want to go at a panther's pace, it's all up to you how fast you want to change your life. But it's not going to be without a fight. And so I want you to put your gloves on and be prepared to fight with all your might, fight day and night, because this is your life and you want to fight to see the change that you can possibly be.
Yeah, that is very, very true. You're definitely right. I mean, and I want to say, piggybacking off of what KRISTIE was just saying, sometimes I've noticed through the journey of everything from my childhood. Sometimes I used to think from, burying my sister on my birthday, burying my brother a couple years ago, just to the point where I'm like, okay, just because we see the obstacle there doesn't mean that's the obstacle that's going to try to hold us back. So a lot of us will get held up where it's almost like, oh, well, I just went through this and that. Why are these 17 things still coming? Because that's a part of life anyway. The journey is going to come on there. So be prepared to fight, and definitely make sure you put your armor on, especially the armor of all that has created you. But also don't downplay what obstacles are still there, and don't look for them to happen. Joy may come in the morning. Okay, you may weep at night, but joy comes in the morning. It definitely does. And my mom always tells me one thing that she kept me through is perfect love casts out all fear, and that's one thing that has helped my heart. And at the same time, she always says, baby, don't borrow any trouble, Lex, because tomorrow has enough trouble of its own. And I used to be like, okay, yeah. And I was looking, I'm like, man, don't say that, Mom. I haven't even got through the day. You telling me tomorrow has more trouble? I used to get like, and I thought about that, and I'm like, once I started just living for today and hoping for tomorrow, it got better. I mean, it got to the point where I was like, look, I can't deal with anything that's happening when the sun shines the next morning if I live to breathe. But I'm not going to worry about it, because right now, this is the problem that I'm dealing with. Tomorrow, I'll deal with the problem that comes on its own. And if it does pile up, it'll sift itself out eventually. That's one thing I do know, because if we got to this point already, we've gotten to somewhere. I mean, we have. I mean, that's yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was thinking about Serene Kierkegaard yesterday. I was reading some hope quote, so I can feed my people. And he said, hope is passion for what is possible. It's passion for what is possible. And that's what Emily Dickinson, she said, we dwell in possibilities. And so if you stay in that space of what is possible, fear falls off, limitation falls off, everything negative falls off, because you're inhabiting a space where it can't touch you.
I like that. Yes, that is true. You write that's the whole thing about fun. I called it fun when I wrote books. I mean, the self-development, different one, spiritual development, the illumination, the one I'm coming out with now, whether it goes there or not, I don't know if it's a platform that I want to bring on the Ellen show. No offense, but I'm not like, it's one of those things. I love opportunities, but it has to have the right grounding for what I'm trying to convey from the message that was given to me. But yeah, that's true. Like the book, the story that you write, I mean, that's the whole chapter. And I tell people it's not about just affirmational writing, because some people will say, well, should I write, I want to be a teacher, I'm going to do this and that, and they don't believe it anyway. It's the point, like you said, hope, the possibility that's out there, like being able to write that down in your own. And that's what I'm saying. The Bible, let's just go here, people. I want to say this, okay? I'm like, we have these scriptures and these and some might be missing or not. I know there's a whole conspiracy behind what everyone likes to believe, but at the end of the day, we got the format of what we need. It's the principle and the understanding of life. But also, it's a manuscript, and it's saying to us, too, the spoken word. So, therefore, we've been given the spoken word within our own lives in order to write our own scriptures and chapters in there. To be able to say, this is what my scripture, chapter 1, okay? This doesn't mean the principle of the whole world, but this is my world. And this is what I'm writing the scriptures of, and just say amen. Every time you write something in that passage, dear diary, not, I broke up or I got divorced today. Dear diary, I got rid of something that was a headache, and I couldn't remove myself from it, so the Creator removed it for me. Okay, next chapter. Dear diary, I didn't get a chance to get the promotion I wanted, but I promoted myself and knowing that I deserve better. Okay, chapter, go to chapter 3. Dear diary, this is what happened. So you still can put a statement in there about what's happening to have a reference, but then the possibility and the hope that you're going to say, hey, this was removed out of my life. I had a heartbreak. This was removed. And I remember looking at one of my sweethearts that helped me, platonic it may be, but he helped me transition myself. And I always thought it was him. I said, oh yeah, God worked through you to get to me. You're meant to be. I'm like, no, you were the true love I needed in order for me to look at the true love within me from who was true love to give me life. But you're not the true love I'm meant to be with, because his whole mindset was on a whole nother route from me. And I had to learn how to let that go. Just because you became a love to me does not mean your love is belong to me. So I had to let that understand, like, you have to let go and separate to elevate. You do have to separate to elevate. And that's with all things, Or if people decide not to be around an alcoholic child, it doesn't mean they love them any less. It's the whole point. They're not going to let demons be in their quarters. And at the same time, if you decide to get rid of a relationship or a partner, if it's not working, let it go. Like, you have to learn how to let it go, let flow. What do they, let go, let flow? Something, one of those. But separate to elevate is what we're saying on different levels. But yeah, we are Taurus and Aries going on here, and we just have that energy.
My goodness. I remember reading once that we dated the level of our self-esteem, and so you're spot on even with that.
Yeah.
I talk to a lot of women who are in toxic relationships, and we really get what we settle for at the end of the day, and we don't have to settle is the point. I work with a young lady who was suicidal when her boyfriend broke up with her, and worked through all of this stuff, and she still ended up being with him.
Yeah.
And it goes back, if you don't first see your own value, you can't expect somebody else to see it, because even if they did see it, you don't see it, so you won't even appreciate it, and more than likely, you're going to drive the person away, like you mentioned what happened to another young lady. It's just not going to work out.
No, it isn't.
You're going to sabotage.
Oh, and if you let the devil take a ride, eventually he's going to want to drive. That's all there is to it. Let me get in the passenger seat. How about you just take the back seat and let me take over the wheel? Let's drive you off a cliff so you have no control. That one of those feelings of where it goes to. And that's where my sister was for 18 plus years. Plus, I decided to deal with my life of, I put carnage, chaos, and abuse and different things, and decided to let it permeate me and lead me to the rock that is higher. And hers, even though she served as nursing and did what she had to do in her path, she decided, I call it a blessing, she decided to do it. Unfortunately, take her life on my birthday. But I was kind of like, you know what? I'm like, even though all the compliments, all the wonderful things that she portrayed herself to be to the world was not exactly what she was feeling for 18 years with her monster. And plus the demons she carried with her into that monster relationship. Because, you look at the person you're with, yeah, but at the same time, there's something, like you said, within us to attract us to that person. There's something, a reflection of us in that. And I look at that too, and I'm like, man, when people get out of themselves, I'm like, man, that's a part of me in them that's reflecting itself back to me. And then I look at the other side, I'm like, man, that's just so innocent and pure, but I still need something where I identify with what I assumed was dead inside of me. It still is trying to live beyond the grave. So I'm like, yeah, I definitely see that point. You know what, KRISTIE, I can't wait till this fall. I'm like, I can't wait. Just imagine if we're sitting there and we have our wonderful waiters sitting there just serving some fruit on a platter to the goddesses. Yes. It's going to be nice.
Absolutely rich. I appreciate you, and I honor the memory of your sister. I can't even imagine.
Oh, thank you. Yes, 2 months later, my brother passed away across town, so I was like, man, I had double funerals, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, for her to choose that day, I was like, no way. But then I look at it now, and then the same night, I saw her death a year before it happened, down to the T. It was only 5 minutes on the clock that was different. I had told my mom and a couple other people, and they were like, wow. My mom, 75 and beautiful, she just knows. She's always been that spiritual, deep-rooted leader to be like, you know what, that's what it is. She always says, tell me what you saw. Tell me what God gave to you. So I was hoping that it wouldn't happen, but I already knew it was going to happen the same time we got the phone call at 3 a.m. I knew it. I already had my shoes on, my keys in my hand, and she didn't even have to finish the sentence. I knew it was there. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And it's something, because I used to call her I used to call my sister Mom. So it was like a whole different thing where I'm like, wow, she chose my birthday. The day I was given life, she decided to leave. And I was like, you know what? It's okay. I was like, it's okay, because now when all these things are coming forth, I'm like, I feel as though some people say it's a weakness, whatever they decide. Her whole life was based on the misery inside of herself. And I feel, and I take it to where, if you can give that back, her burden was too heavy that she felt was for her to carry. So she gave it back to the Creator who gave her breath. And now they have the decision to say, that breath is back to me, and deal with it accordingly, from whatever happened. So I'm like, you know what? And it's weird because I still look for girls that look like her when I walk in a crowd. Because I'm like, well, maybe that's her. Maybe she's just hoaxing me, I'm like, even though I was there during the whole process of her body being taken out, it doesn't hit you, even now. So when my birthday comes April 9th, I don't, my friend was like, you know what? Have it as a celebration of life. And I'm like, well, I don't want to celebrate that. I want to have my birthday, And I was like, I don't want to. I'm like, but that's for her. And that vision I got of her that same night, the same morning I fell asleep for a few hours after crying and crying. It was her smiling with me, walking down the street saying, I'm free, Lex. I'm free. I'm free. And that's what got me. I'm like, man, she just looks so beautiful. I'm like, man, you're free at last.
Wow.
That's why I was like, okay. That was her freedom. So I don't encourage you all. Okay, put the disclaimer out there. I don't encourage you all to go and say, well, Lex said, or I feel as though. No, there's always, and for her, well, who knows? Her purpose could have been having my niece and my nephew. We don't know that. And some people do drastic measures, but I don't encourage any of you to ever do anything like that. But I do say you can set yourself free while you're still alive and breathing, and you can just live your purpose. And like KRISTIE was saying, the pen is your power, and it also lets you write your chapters out. So when the creator of all things says, okay, it's time for you to come home at his will, then it's something that you say, okay, I've done the best of what I could from when my eyes were opened up. So now your eyes are open. There you go. Hashtag facts. Yeah. So thank you so much. I wanted to say that. Thank you so much for expansion with us. Just giving us your presence, your love, your blessings, and just having that whole ambiance of what you are. Because you're unstoppable. That's what I gotta say. You gotta use that.
You're gonna hear me roar.
Yeah, like unstoppable, like empowerment, definitely. And you should have your own TEDx show. Period. Boom. Let's just go for that. You should just have the KRISTIE Kennedy TEDx show. Let's do it. Let's put that into existence today. Hallelujah. We got it.
Yes. Manifest.
Yeah, it's like that whole understanding. So if any of you out there who want to know more, KRISTIE's going to have her dedicated blog page at realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com. We do have the RDDC website out, and we're filling that up with wonderful kind of cool apparel and stuff that you guys have submitted that you want to see on some decals and all that other good stuff. But until then, you definitely can check out realdoubledosechannel.blogspot.com and find the www.queenfidence.com. That's QUEEN, F as in Frank, IDENCE.com, and you can check that out at the Blogspot. Once Anthony, I had to look over at him, Anthony gets that going on the scheduled roll call. So thank you again, KRISTIE, for being with us. You're amazing, and our family.
Thank you, beautiful.
Yes, you know what? Beauty knows beauty.
It's been a joy. And the last question is, without your wound, where would your power be? So just remember to appreciate everything you've experienced in life.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And remember, too, to be the change, feel the passion, embrace the power of that beautiful, wonderful spirit that is always calling from within you. We love you, RDC families, and all of those who are new to the movement of what's going on. Check that out. Check out more, and check yourself, definitely, inside and out. We'll be back with you very, very, very soon.